Let's find out what Jedediah Avila and Lachlan Markay think about it all. Lachlan is a reporter at the Washington Free Beacon. Jedediah Avila, author, columnist, Fox News contributor. Good to have you both with us.
Good to be
Lachlan,
here.
this is quite a move right now. We're now waiting to see whether or not we're told Ryan's going to come out and talk. What in the world is going on from your perspective?
I mean, it's been the waiting game for the last couple weeks here, but I think all indications at this point are that he is going to run. As you mentioned, meeting with the House Freedom Caucus, he met with a group of moderate Democrats called the Tuesday Group, sort of trying to put feelers out there and make sure he's going to be able to actually get something done as Speaker. We all know he wants to push tax reform through. He wanted to do that at the Ways and Means Committee, but, you know, there'll be opportunities for him procedurally to sort of shepherd that through as Speaker. So, you know, he was reluctant, obviously, at first, but I think all indications are that he's going to throw his hat in the ring tonight.
I think he was just being shy, Lachlan. I really do. Congressman Mick Mulvaney says that Ryan told members of the caucus that both conservatives and moderates would be upset with something that he may say tonight, as early as tonight. That's an auspicious beginning, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I like that because it keeps it feisty from the beginning, and it has us all sort of questioning what he's going to do. I liked Paul Ryan until he jumped on the Romney ticket, and then I thought he got really, really weak. So that makes me a little bit nervous because I think he's the kind of guy that is principled in some sense, but can easily be persuaded to be very reasonable and to want to compromise. And that all sounds really great, except it utterly amounts to nothing when it comes to policy. I think what conservatives are really looking for is someone who can be in a leadership role, who can dig their heels in, who can battle both the left and the establishment wing of the Republican Party. That's not going to be Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan's going to be someone that the establishment loves, once again, because I think he's viewed as reasonable and compromising, and I don't know if that's what people are looking for right now.
In the kindest way. He's an instrument of the establishment, supporting, as he does, the TPP, which, by the way, that a large number of the House of Representatives has fought tooth and nail. He supports amnesty. He has had this sort of evolution, not unlike Marco Rubio on the issue of amnesty and illegal immigration. Lachlan, what do you think? Is he going to go for it? And if he does go for it, will he have, as apparently he has requested, unanimity of support in that raucous Republican conference?
Yeah, that might be a lot to ask at the moment, but I think it's important to note the House Freedom Caucus sort of grievances with the existing Republican establishment, and they're less really ideological and even less policy focused than they are procedurally focused. So, you know, returning to regular order in the House, allowing amendments, devolving a little more power back to committee chairs, things like that Ryan could do, I think, without really upsetting any elements of the party and really putting a lot of members' minds at ease that it's not going to be a leadership-driven caucus as much as it was under John Boehner and Kevin McCarthy. So I think there's a lot he can do where he doesn't even have to touch the amnesty issue or the TPP issue or any other issue to really put members' minds at ease.
We got a choice between an all-out battle and mind-numbing indifference to the issues. Let's turn to the Republican race. Bush goes after Trump, who actually many could argue, and Trump certainly would, that he saw something on the order of September 11th happening in a book that he wrote in the late 90s. What in the world is Bush thinking about? Is this his only way out?
He's desperate. I mean, Jeb Bush is desperate in many ways because I think he thought that all of the money that he had behind him and all of the establishment support that he had behind him was going to catapult him to the top. He was just going to enter the race and everyone else was going to take a step back. And here you have Donald Trump, who's not a typical politician, who says a lot of things that you would think would turn people off, that isn't turning people off. He's still at the lead of the pack. You know what?
That was okay, you know, in the early stage of this. What he's talking about now, he's not calling names. He's talking about substantive issues, whether it be foreign policy.
It's true, but if you look at his Twitter feed, if you look at the way he talks about, he does linger on certain ridiculous issues. He retweets a lot of crazy things. That's fine, but people are saying, you know what, I don't care. I'd rather have someone that does that and actually is going to get stuff done and is serious about policy. And you're right, he did write about national security issues in his book. He did speak about a lot of these things ahead of time and forewarned.
So
that's in
he's
writing.
Also got
People
3 position papers out, Lachlan.
That's true.
Where is everybody else's position paper?
They're asleep.
Yeah, it's kind of turning conventional wisdom on its head in the sense of you have anti-establishment Republicans who are coalescing behind a candidate, and establishment Republicans are sort of split among Bush, Rubio, Fiorina, Kasich, Christie, a lot of these establishment candidates.
They don't know what the heck to do.
Yeah, I mean, as the field winnows, I think Trump probably is approaching his ceiling of support, and I think you're going to see a lot of establishment Republicans, more middle-of-the-road people, coalescing behind an alternative to Trump. And we saw that in a poll out today in New Hampshire, where even Cruz supporters and Carson supporters, 70+% of them, would in fact back Rubio over Trump if it came to that in a head-to-head matchup in that state.
Can't wait to see the next poll. Jedediah Bila Lachlan.
We'll be here.
Thanks so much, Lachlan and Mark.